I really want y'all to party. You know, I have birthdays now every 6 months. And so I have to first thank you all so much for coming out to support Barbara Lee for Congress and to wish us well and to say happy birthday, because it's just really so important at this moment in the history of this community that we stay together and move forward and continue to be the most progressive and enlightened and diverse congressional district in the country. And I think tonight you can see that. And I just want to thank Mashawn, and I want to thank Sandra Andrews, all of our volunteers and our staff for really pulling this together and making sure that our young people participate fully in Barbara Lee for Congress and in my congressional operation, because these young people, give all of our young people a round of applause, because they really give us a lot of hope. They give us a lot of hope in this community. You know, the press doesn't report about all the great stuff these kids are doing, but we know what they're doing. We see them each and every day, and I just want to salute them and tell them to stay the course and that we got your back. We got your back. And of course, I have to salute and honor my mother, Mildred Massey. Thank you for this day. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. And let me tell you, many of you read my book. I almost didn't get here because, you know, she went through it in El Paso, Texas, when she went to the hospital. But I always like to tell this story because it's very important to recognize that, you know, it hasn't always been the way it is, and we have a long way to go. But when I was born, segregation was alive and well. And, you know, they didn't want me to take my mother to the hospital because she was black and she needed a C-section. They still didn't want her in. And lo and behold, finally my grandmother came up there and, you know, she kind of looked like she was white. You know what that, you know, the history of African Americans and what happened in terms of slavery and all the stuff, right? And so my great-grandfather was Irish, so my grandmother looked like she was white. So she went up to the hospital and said, "This is my daughter, let her in." And that's the only way my mother got in the hospital. That's the only way. By the time she got in, you know, it was too late for a C-section. And my mother always tells me how I almost didn't make it into this world, and she almost didn't make it through that pregnancy, and they had to deliver me using forceps. And so I always on my birthday have to say thank you to my mother and to remind my friends and family, my constituents, that, you know, my commitment to peace and justice and to health care and to women's rights and to making this a better world really comes from the day I was born, because I almost didn't make it into this world. And so really quickly, I just have to give you a big bouquet of yellow roses. Yellow roses are her favorite. Gives me a chance to pause and say thank you and to, you know, remind myself of why I'm here in this world, and that's to really work for a better world for all our children. And so I just have to thank this entire district for being such an unbelievably clear-thinking, progressive political district who really we all share the same values, and it's so important at this moment in time in our political history and in the history of this country. Next week, and I'll just talk very briefly about politics for a hot second. You know, November is coming very rapidly. We have to win this campaign. We have to win it big. I am so pleased that I have Alameda now in the new district and San Leandro. But that means folks from Alameda and San Leandro here. Hey. That means, so I have to raise money to communicate to 100,000 new people as a result of reapportionment. So all of your contributions, and I want to thank our sponsors, our hosts, and all of you who contributed to this event, because we have to raise money so that we can make sure that we communicate with our constituents and that we get everybody out to the polls, because Barack Obama has got to win, and has got to win big in November. And we're going to make sure that happens. We're going to make sure that happens. As you know, the president will be here next week, so I've got it. And let me tell you, this was not an easy thing to get him to come. And I want to thank all of you, because he remembers, though, that my congressional district in the primary, thanks to all of you, we turned out the highest number and highest percentage for Barack Obama from this district. And so he's very grateful for that, and he's looking forward to coming here. This is all about, again, raising money, because he has got to beat Mitt Romney. You do not want Mitt Romney in the White House. No. And so let's show the president a lot of love. Let's make sure, once again, we're the highest turnout in my congressional district, because let me tell you, it means a lot to the president. It means a lot to members of Congress to let them know that this district deserves as much attention as the White House and the federal government can give it, because we support the president all the way and his administration. Also, I think it's been announced I was appointed, and it's a real honor to have been appointed to the drafting committee for the Democratic Party platform. There are about 10, 12 of us on it. And so I'll be writing this platform with my colleagues who have been appointed. So trust me, we're going to get some progressive policies and planks in the party platform. So I was very pleased when the White House told me, the DNC, that, you know, and they know why they wanted me there. So we're going to push it, and we're going to make sure that the Democratic Party, truly it becomes a Democratic Party and a progressive Democratic Party. I think it's happening. Finally, I'll just say one thing that's taking place, which really this district you need to know about, and that is the International AIDS Conference finally has come to the United States. Finally. The last one was in the 90s in San Francisco, but I authored the legislation that lifted the travel ban that allowed the conference to come here. And I'm very humbled by that. We will be meeting beginning next Sunday, and I'll be speaking at the plenary session with President George Bush and the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon. So if you can believe that, but speaking at the plenary session is pretty cool. So I'll be sure that in my comments, though, we will talk about why it's important for the international community, our global family, to understand what's taking place in this country as it relates to HIV and AIDS, and that we in this district want to see an AIDS-free generation in our lifetime. So once again, I want to thank our musicians so much. You all are awesome, and I want you all to dance and have a good time. I want to thank those who brought the food. Wasn't the food unbelievable? It was really delicious. And all of you who, Bashan, thank you again so much for putting this all together, and for giving us a chance to just have a good time, and Denise and everybody who was part of Team Lee in this whole effort, because I know it was a hard job, and you did it very quickly, and I've been in Washington, so I haven't had a chance to get too involved. But thank you again, have a good time, and let's party. And another birthday in 6 more months. All right, give it up.